the injuries, the Farhan, the Dodgers, and those were leading questions. I don't know what the hell this ballpark's going to look like tonight.
Neither does he.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like it.
Neither will he.
Let's put it that way.
I think that those were fair questions. I don't know if they were leading questions because, they, as a home player, and you realize that maybe the crowd in your own building is not as much behind you as normal, that's got to be a little bit unsettling. And at the same time, he's right. When the crowd is really live and they're supporting you, it's a win-win because they're supporting you and they're also going to get on the other team a little bit and make it harder on them.
Well, here's maybe an interesting conversation to have with what's going on. And again, it's organic. It wasn't purposeful. But the bottom four in the order tonight were all River Cats a week and a half ago. All of them. So Sable is there. Ramos is there. Matos is there. Schmidt is there. Okay? And Casey Schmidt joined us earlier. You can go to the Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever, and take a listen to that. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny when he talks about surfing and sometimes he eats Schmidt. Anyway, so check that out, how he likes his burritos, all those things, the important questions.
Right.
The Giants clearly started this year, I feel. They clearly started this year with a singular goal, and that was to reconnect with their fan base. It wasn't just like, let's win. I know that that's at the base of all things. But if you look at the way the Giants went about their business, let's spend a bunch of money. Let's get some name value in here. Blake Snell, Matt Chapman. Let's get a middle-of-the-order guy who can pump home runs out to left field, Jorge Soler. And even the Jung-Hoo Lee signing, this is going to be your guy. Like, this 5-year deal, longest one they've ever handed out. Exciting, young, unique player, Jung-Hoo Lee. Then what else do they do? Let's hire a former Giant as our manager. And then he hires his coaching staff. Let's hire a former Giant and another former Giant. Let's get Matt Williams, Pat Burrell, Bo Mel. Let's get them all in here, and let's become something that our fans can identify with. Has it worked?
No.
I mean, 888-957-9570 are, if you're a Giants fan, their efforts to connect with you, have they worked or not?
I don't think that they have, but I don't know if you can necessarily place the blame on Farhan Zaidi just yet. And I thought Javi gave a good answer to that because what did you want Farhan to do? You wanted him to go out there and spend. You even said it last year. Mm-hmm. If this team is not top 10 in payroll, I'm going to be angry. And I said, Farhan, I don't think that you have the ability to go out there and land a big fish. And, well, they did that. And they signed Jung-Hoo Lee to a 9-figure deal. They got a couple of the Boris 4. They got the prize pitching free agent outside of Yamamoto, Blake Snell. They brought in Matt Chapman. They brought in Jorge Soler. Jung-Hoo Lee was an exciting international prospect. They spent a lot. They brought in a lot, and they have put out, going back to March, Mark, a more exciting team than they had last year. You mentioned the staff hirings. I think that is important, and it was intentional and profound to bring in Bo Mel and Pat Burrell and Matt Williams. These are not accidental hires. These are qualified guys who definitely make an impact to the fan base. Has it worked? I don't think that it has. I don't blame the efforts. And if Soler was healthy and if he had 8 home runs or 9 home runs right now, we'd all be singing a different tune. And if Blake Snell was healthy and getting people out, we'd think differently. If Matt Chapman was hitting higher than 210, we'd think differently. They tried to do the right thing. You and I always have a debate about process versus results. Mm-hmm. I believe that the process of the front office was the right one. You brought in exciting players, known commodities, forever Giants, and you tried to become more attractive to your fans. The result has not been that. Attendance is up a tiny bit, and I think tonight's going to be indicative of the fan base maybe not being totally invested.
You know what? I'm going to go, and I hate this. I'm going into tonight's game. You're a golfer. Let's do a golf analogy.
Okay.
I'm going into tonight's game the same way I go into the back nine when I shot 48 on the front.
That's not good for you.
So, like, you're just like,
who gives a rip?
Well, no, let's go have some fun. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. And by the way, that's usually when you'll play well because you relax.
Right.
And you divorce yourself from the results and all of that stuff. And so maybe you'll just have some fun. But that grinder, like, let's get it mentality, I just don't even know how a Giants fan can have that tonight. And that's a disaster to me. That's a disaster. That's a real loss. It's interesting. You brought up the whole top 10 in payroll thing, and I think our minds go, well, the way they spent this offseason, they're automatically in the top 10. Do you know what number they are?
Probably 8.
They're number 10.
They are number 10.
They are number
Wow.
10. Now, you want to know why the Ohtani contract, and again, Durant's Warriors were not allowed to be mad, but do you want to know why the Ohtani contract ticks everybody the heck off? Ohtani and Yamamoto came in about, it felt like, and maybe it was more, but it felt like it was about a week and a half apart.
Yeah.
And the two contracts together totaled about $1 billion. $1 billion. Do you want to know where the Dodgers are in payroll?
They got to be number 1. They're paying $1 billion to two guys.
They're not number 1. What number do you think they are? Try again.
Probably 5.
Keep going.
Lower? 7?
The Dodgers are number 7.
Number 7, wow.
The Giants are 10, and the Dodgers are 7. Watch the two lineups trot to the plate tonight and tell me how the hell the Dodgers' payroll is only $28 million more than the Giants. Answer number 1 is none of Ohtani's money is on the payroll.
Right.
That's answer number 1. But that's not all of it. That's not all of it at all. The other part of it is that they've got some people in that lineup who are homegrown and not making a ton of money, but giving you a bunch of output. So I do wonder this also, though, if you're really down on the connection the Giants have made with you, the fan, that's usually the same person who's like, I want to see more of the kids. Are you finding what's about to happen over these next couple of weeks exciting now, even though it's forced? They're forced to play the kids. Are you into it? Like, I can only answer for me. I already feel loss, and it hasn't even happened yet. I hate that Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be out. I hate that Soler is out, even though he grounds into a double play when someone's on first base almost every time. Like, I hate that it's not a major league lineup. I hate that. It's too early in the season for me to be excited about that.
Well, you got no choice, unfortunately.
I know, but I'm still in let's win these damn games mode.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that being said, I am excited to see these guys play more regularly. And even though it's because of necessity, it's not out of choice, it's out of need. I'm looking forward to seeing Matos and Ramos and Casey Schmidt, friend of the program, now that we had a chance to talk to him. I'm rooting for him harder than ever before. And, Sable, we've seen a bunch already, and he's looked good in some spots. And so, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see it. And I look at this matchup tonight in particular, and I think what a big win it would be if the Giants are able to beat the Dodgers, this Dodger team. That would be really cool if they just went out there and, put up a 5 spot on Yamamoto, and Jordan Hicks was able to go out there and keep this Hall of Fame lineup at bay, and you win it 5-2. That would be awesome.
That'd be like 5 runs.
But yeah, sorry, I got a little crazy there. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh God. Thanks,
That's coming.
Andy. Philmo Mike's on the line. Hey, Philmo, what's up?
Hey, what's up with it? Do I sound cool?
You sound so cool.
Okay, for sure. The phone was kind of tripping. Anyway, hey, man, Farhan, he kind of sucked, but at the end of the day, I do give him this. He tried. No, seriously, as a general manager, all you could do is try. You who knew, I think he did a good job as far as getting recognizable players, a la Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, right? As baseball fans, we know these names. That's like, okay, that's better than whoever the heck was there last year. You know what I mean? He brought up some youngsters. He went out and got Jorge Soler. Even though he's not African American, I identify with him because he's a dark-skinned black dude playing baseball, which is always cool to see, at least in my case, because I'm a big black guy. And he did what he did as far as Jung-Hoo Lee, super exciting player. Like, in terms of what you asked, I love it. The results aren't there, but, hey, they're way more interesting to me, even the injuries. At least we got something to talk about, right? They're on the DH. How are they going to respond to that? I'm serious. It's in comparison to the last 2-3 years where we were irrelevant, very boring, super, ultra stale. We use that with the Warriors, not the super ultra, but I'm just saying they were. This team that they're providing is much more entertaining. They're not where we want to be, but at the end of the day, it's baseball. It's a long-ass season. Who knows what can happen? And you might find, not a diamond in the rough because all these players were good prospects, but you might find that one player that he might have had a rocky start, and then his career starts to take off a little bit more like a Ramos or a Matos and things of that nature. So I love it. In Casey Smith interview, he goofy like you did. He was laughing. He was laughing at all your shows. You had him. Hey, Tibbs, you had him in the palm of your hand, bro.
I appreciate it, Philmo. Thank you for the call, as always.
Philmo, thank you. Yeah, thank you for reading the script that I sent you. See, Farhan's amazing.
Well, he tried, and that's kind of been my takeaway is the more we talk about it and the way you laid it out, I do think he tried to do everything that fans have asked him to do. Now, if it doesn't work, that doesn't mean he gets a pass.
No, he doesn't get a pass. That word is going to get everybody.
Tried.
He tried. Nobody wants to do that. We're not talking about trying here.
Well, when you're doing what he does, it's not like he can step in there and get a base hit. All he can do is bring in free agents that he identifies as guys who can come in and fit and hit and help them win. And if he identifies them, and they come in and they either can't stay healthy or they can't get the job done, it falls on him. So trying is not a way to say, well, it's okay, Farhan, you tried.
Of course not. But you threw one phrase in there that I take issue with. If they can't stay healthy, it's on him. I don't understand.
It's not on him.
It's not like Jung-Hoo Lee's injury is not on Farhan.
No, and he's going to be here for years to come.
And Jung-Hoo Lee was a good signing. Let me
Jorge
ask.
Soler is a guy who, he's had injury history in the past.
Sure.
So if you go out and identify that as a player you want and he comes in and he gets hurt, well, it's on the player certainly because he's the one playing, but it's also on the president of baseball ops for bringing in guys who can't stay healthy.
It's not on anyone. He got hurt.
Right. But at the end of it, if this team ends up 70 and 92, but Farhan pays the price.
No question. But on an individual basis. So in other words, I think this is maybe the interesting question that Filmo brings up. And I know what my answer would be. Did Farhan have a good offseason?
I think so.
I do too. See, I thought, and the way I can assess that for me, the fan, is that at each stage, once something was done, I remember what I wrote. I'd be like, okay, great. Now do this. Now do this. They got Soler. And then, right? And then
now get a pitcher.
It was Chapman. I said, go get a pitcher. You need another starting pitcher. And that was after Hicks. Because at Hicks, I was like, who knows how the hell that's going to go.
Right.
And they went and got Blake Snell. And you can sit here today and be like, what the hell did that do for anybody? He's had 3 starts. He's getting shelled in all of them. He can't throw a strike. But he's still Blake Snell. He's still only had 3 starts. And he is coming back this week. And I remain completely optimistic because why wouldn't I be? He's still the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner. So I think, have my foot in 2 buckets at once. And that is to agree with you that your title is the president of baseball operations. Therefore, if the baseball operation stinks, that's on you. And that's just the way it works. Dems the breaks. I can also, at the same time, have an opinion that he had a good offseason. Except for that joke he told at the Blake Snell press conference.
Right.
That fell flat. But other than that, he had a good offseason. I'm glad he signed Jung-Hoo Lee. I'm glad he signed Blake Snell. For some odd reason, I still sit here today glad that he signed Jorge Soler and Matt Chapman, because I think that they've been good baseball players through the years. These 40 games are not on their resume tape. But the story's not over yet. I think Filmo has a point. You can't rip Farhan for moves that you liked a month and a half ago, because it's not time to give up on that yet.
It's not time to, but if you get to the end of the year, you can rip him.
Yes.
And he can lose his job.
And we would be wrong then. And I'll be the first to say that if I was wrong. But if you go back to this offseason, when they signed Blake Snell, ask me that day if I thought better than 50-50 shot that the Giants are going to the playoffs. I absolutely did. Dave Fleming came on this radio station, and forget wild card. This team can win the division.
Right.
That's how we felt. If you felt that way at the time, I would say it's too early now to suddenly say he had a bad offseason. You can feel he's had a bad tenure. That's totally different. I'm simply I am still glad that he did some of the things this offseason that everyone's been holding him accountable to do. He did them.
Right. And they may not work out.
They may not work out.
Right. But he did them. And that's where I give him credit, because I said many, many times that I didn't think that he could close a big name free agent, and he got Blake Snell, and he also got Jung-Hoo Lee, a guy who has a multi-year deal and he's making 9 figures. These are things that he hadn't done. And so, yeah, Jung-Hoo Lee, if he misses the rest of the year, that's not a Farhan issue. It's not his fault that, Jung-Hoo Lee plays so hard that he crashed into the outfield fence. That's just baseball. That's pro sports. That's a bad break, literally. But if you look at the other signings, if Blake Snell has an uneven year, if Matt Chapman continues to strike out almost every time that he's at the dish, these are things that could end up costing Farhan his job.
It could.
Even though he had a good offseason. I agree with you.
Yeah. I just, the whole now we're in a spot where we're going to see what a lot of people have been asking for, but not by choice. And so I really do have my eyes on that now. This is going to sound like the most ridiculous positive spin you could ever imagine.
From you?
Yeah, right?
It's crazy.
No, I think this could end up being a blessing in disguise. People want to see these guys that get at bats. Now they're going to get at bats, but you don't have to have it happen at a time where it is, at the expense of a veteran being pulled off of the roster, or a player, forced up the pressure that was on Casey Schmidt. There's no choice, in other words. This is not something the Giants sat down and decided to do. They didn't want by mid-May to have Matos in center field tonight. That's not their plan at all. But here it is. So, okay, dude, go do it. Everybody that's been clamoring for an opportunity, now you got it. It didn't come the way you wanted, so what? You got it. I'm a huge believer in that. Everybody gets their shot when it comes to pro sports. They get the shot that they deserve. And now it's what do you do with it? What do you do with it? So that's going to be the other thing. I'm not calling for these guys to be able to suddenly spin on Yamamoto tonight. I'm not going to be small sample size Steve. But Matos is going to get a hell of a run now. A hell of a run. He's going to get a lot of time. And if he can't do anything with it, I don't want to hear next year, come on, stick with the young guys. Let's see what they got. No, this is it. This is it. This is Eminem is singing for these guys now. Ramos too. This is it. Let's see what you can do. They got to take the opportunity.